Hello everyone, this is DJTHED from TryToWatchThisTTWT, and today we're going to be doing the default soldier weapons. We're going to be reviewing them. The rocket launcher, the shotgun, and the shovel. So, first off we have the taunts here, which I will be doing for all reviews, showing up all the taunts. And here's the gameplay. Well, the rocket launcher is a very powerful weapon for the soldier. It is a pretty easy weapon to use, but it is pretty hard to get used to the advanced techniques you can use with the rocket launcher, like rocket jumping, air strafing, and all that stuff. It's actually a lot more powerful. Well, not necessarily a lot more powerful than people think, but it is very powerful. It can do a lot of damage with splash damage, so it's very easy to inflict damage on the enemy anyway. You always have to aim down at the enemy's feet to inflict the most damage as possible, or if you're really good at making shots, you can make an air shot and hopefully you can get a shot on the body, which does the most damage. But if you're actually to do that, you would be using probably the direct hit, which a lot of people don't like because of the lack of splash damage, but you know, it depends on your playstyle. But anyways, the soldier's secondary weapon, the shotgun, is a secondary weapon, of course. It is identical to the shotgun for the pyro, the engineer, and the heavy. Almost forgot there. Yeah, it's pretty much identical, but all the classes that uses the shotgun has a different playstyle with the shotgun. And the class I'll be using it the most would be the engineer, and then, well, the rest of the classes would probably depend on your playstyle. For all the classes except for the engineer, the shotgun is mainly used as a backup weapon if you run out of ammo. Especially if you're heavy, if you don't have any other weapons to use, if your minigun runs out of ammo, you'd probably be using your shotgun or cheating. But, yeah. As a soldier, though, if you were to run out of ammo on your rocket launcher, you would be using it to pick off the enemy while you retreat, or if you aren't feeling comfortable at all making air shots with the rocket launcher, you could use the shotgun to shoot enemies in the air, or you can do so while reloading. So you'd be using the shotgun quite frequently if you know how to use it with the soldier, as well as if you have good aim. Because if you don't have very good aiming, you're not going to do too well with a lot of weapons in this game. Though the rocket launcher itself doesn't require much aiming to actually get any hits, while a lot of other weapons do. But the next weapon for the soldier is a shovel. And as well as my last review, the scout review, with the bat, I don't use the shovel very much. I usually use other alternatives, like the equalizer, which is actually my favorite melee weapon for the soldier. But shovel is just not used very often for me. It's not gonna do too much damage, really. It has a base damage of 65. Its rate of fire is not the best, but it's about average anyway. But 65 is not gonna do too much, unless you like it a little random crit or something that would do nearly 200 damage. But the shovel, I actually never got a kill with the shovel while recording this, because I rarely find the opportunity to use it when it would be smart, and you know, I just don't want to do anything stupid to show you guys shovel, because it's just really hard to use a shovel as a soldier. Most people usually use other melee weapons. But yeah. So yeah, the rocket launcher is probably the best weapon for most players to use when it comes to rocket jumping and everything. You know, all the pro shots. it's the most preferred rocket launcher out of all the others by most people. But that's not always the case. Like for me, I actually like the Liberty launcher. I'm willing to sacrifice 1 ammo, but yeah. There are some advanced techniques you can use with the rocket launcher. There is rocket jumping and air strafing with it, as well as other types of rocket jumping. A basic rocket jump is basically you aim the rocket down at your feet, directly below your feet. You jump, you crouch, and then you fire. It's a very basic rocket jump, and it can, when you follow those steps, and you pretty much have to do that pretty much within a second. If you do that, it'll launch you to the maximum height as you possibly could. It's the best way to get your most height. So yeah. And then there's a technique you can use to launch yourself forward, is to shoot a rocket behind you on the floor or against a wall, but preferably against a wall. And instead of below your feet, you'd be shooting against the wall or the floor behind you, and then you pretty much follow the same steps: jump, crouch, and then hope for the best that you get launched. It does require some practice, yes, it does, but that's very basic rocket jumping. There's many other techniques I have yet to master, because I'm not the best with the soldier as well. I do prefer other classes, but he is still a pretty fun class to use, just to enjoy blowing up other people into gibs. Yeah. But there is another strategy that you may have seen me use in the gameplay here, which I actually just did, was air strafing. It may take a while to get used to as well, and a lot of people don't know about this, especially noobs. But when you launch yourself forward, the best way to avoid enemy fire, as well as to get farther distance, is to air strafe. All you have to do for air strafing is that when you launch yourself, you have to make sure you don't have the W button pressed. Make sure you only have the D or A button pressed, and move your mouse button slightly while you have the buttons pressed. Like, for example, if you want to just launch yourself left, you'd be launching yourself forward, and then letting go of the W button, pressing the A button, and slowly moving your mouse left. If you're launching yourself right, you'd be doing it with D and moving your mouse right instead. So yeah, that's pretty much all the basics. There's many other advanced types of rocket jumping, like pogoing and wall jumping and all that. And I do have to practice on all those as well, because I am not the best at doing all those advanced techniques. But yeah, you might have noticed I've been talking about the rocket launcher a lot more than the other weapons, because rarely will a soldier use any other weaponing, especially the shovel. The shovel is very rarely used. But the shotgun is used frequently, not like all the time, but frequently when using it if you have to reload or run out of ammo. But yeah, though I'm kind of disappointed how the shovel seems kind of useless. I'm not saying it completely is, and it could be useful in some situations, but I never found that certain situation. It's kind of disappointing. But you always can trust your rocket launcher. And always, 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 always reload. You don't know what it's like if you run out of rockets. If you don't reload, it's the best way to keep that from happening is to enable auto reload in the advanced options menu. It's always going to keep your rocket loaded if you have ammo to reload with. Oh, I think I stole the engineer's medal there. I just realized that. Sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, just be sure to have your rocket launcher loaded at all times. It's the best way to keep yourself from running out of ammo and killing yourself, pretty much. But if you do still happen to run out of ammo, or do have to reload, you can always use your shotgun. Or there might be some situations that you might be using your shovel, though that will be in fact very rare. That is if you don't plan on using it very often. And I don't plan on using it very often. In fact, I prefer almost any other melee weapon over the shovel. But I'm not saying. Oh, and by the way, I knew that was a spy. I just didn't want to attack it because it would know I was there, and I just needed to stick around. So. But anyways, as I was saying, I'm not saying that the shovel's terrible. I'm pretty sure a few people might be thinking it's pretty useful. I'm not saying any weapon at all I'm not saying any weapon is terrible anyway. A lot of weapons, pretty much all weapons, can be useful in some way, but a lot of people can't really use it in that way, which is why a lot of people might not like it. For example, the Widowmaker, a lot of people don't use it very often because they don't have very good aim, and it's just not very beneficial, but, you know. Well, I do hope you enjoyed watching this review, and I hope you subscribe, comment, and like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next review.